on Grady Newsource, we asked a leading expert on vaccines about the current measles outbreak in 5 states.
Measles is one of the most contagious infectious diseases that are out there. And so if there's even a small drop below 96% of the population being vaccinated, you're going to start to see outbreaks like that.
Also ahead, that controversial heartbeat bill making its way through the Georgia legislature.
I'm Donovan Harris, and I'm here in Tate Plaza, where students will gather in about an hour to protest the controversial heartbeat bill. More ahead.
Plus, how the legacy left by a high school athlete still brings the Oconee County community together.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College of the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening and welcome to Grady Newsource. I'm Sarah Hammond.
And I'm Majesty Bass. Our top story tonight. A renowned expert on vaccines was on campus today as the concerns about the spread of measles swept the country. Dr. Deborah Fuller from the University of Washington was here to speak about her research into influenza. But I wanted to know what she thought about vaccines, the fear of them, and the current measles outbreak.
Students and faculty gathered to listen to Dr. Deborah Fuller present her research about the development of new universal vaccines and antivirals for seasonal and pandemic influenza. A graduate student at UGA's influenza lab told me what he took away from the presentation.
Nowadays is to start with development of therapeutics in silico.
Dr. Deborah Fuller spoke to me here at the Coverdell Center for Biomedical and Health Sciences about the importance of vaccinations and what they mean for you and your child's health.
Dr. Fuller says people have become complacent about getting vaccines because diseases like the measles have been gone for 20 to 30 years.
People are becoming complacent and thinking, well, it's not going to be an impact to me. And, they think, well, I don't necessarily.
She says it is important to get vaccinated to help those that cannot receive the vaccination, like babies or those who have weakened immune systems. They depend on herd immunity to stay safe.
People who are healthy and able to take the vaccine to become immune to the measles virus so that they're not able to transmit to those who are more vulnerable or too young.
Dr. Fuller expresses the importance of parents getting their kids vaccinated against diseases like the measles.
But for the population as a whole, it was a public duty to get vaccinated.
Dr. Fuller told me the reason we have seen a resurgence of measles is because parents are not vaccinating their children. Measles cases nationwide are on the rise. The CDC says there were 372 cases in all of 2018. There have already been 314 cases in the first 3 months of 2019. This is on pace to be the highest number of cases since 2014. 15 states, including Georgia, have reported measles cases so far. 5 states have had measles outbreaks defined as 3 or more cases. The largest outbreak is in Rockland County, New York, where there have been 155 confirmed cases.
A group of UGA students plan to gather at Tate tonight to hold what they call a positive protest in opposition to Georgia's House Bill 481, or what many call the heartbeat bill. Grady Newsource reporter Donovan Harris is at Tate Plaza where organizers are setting up for the protest.
Sarah, the heartbeat bill has sparked controversy across the state and across the nation. In fact, if Governor Georgia Brian Kemp signs this bill into law, it will be considered one of the most restrictive abortion laws because it will outlaw abortions at 6 weeks or when a heartbeat is detected. I spoke with the organizer of the Commit to Choice event, and she told me that this is more than just about women's rights, it's about human rights.
This isn't about if you're pro-life or pro-choice or your stance on abortion. This is about if you believe in women's autonomy and if you think that they get to make that choice.
Caitlin Gagan is a second-year international affairs major and is one of the 3 organizers for the Commit to Choice March, which is in opposition to the Georgia House Bill 481, or the Heartbeat Bill. House Republican Representative of Ackworth, Ed Setzler, sponsored the bill.
Because America is good. We're a light and a beacon to the world, and we as a state of Georgia are a trendsetter and a leader in what it means to be good.
I spoke with Reed Ferguson, a UGA student and writer with the Arch Conservative. She told me that this controversy surrounding abortion goes beyond just a woman's rights.
You have no right to murder. You have no right to steal. So it's really not choice. The question is choice to do what? And if this is a life, you are talking about the choice to murder. And that is not one we as a society should support.
Reagan says that she hopes this march will unite people against the heartbeat bill and in favor for change.
And while it is difficult for one person to change everything, when we unite and all of our voices are heard in accumulation, we can enact massive social change.
Gagan told me in the interview that over 300 people RSVP'd for the Commit to Choice event tonight. And she also told me that if people could do one thing, it would be to call their state representative to voice their concerns about this bill. Now, the state Senate passed this bill on Monday. Now it will go back to the House because it adopted what is called a substitution. Then if it passes the House, then it will go to Governor Kemp's desk to be signed into law. Reporting live from Tate Plaza, Donovan Harris, Grady Newsource.
Gwinnett County Police have named a new suspect in connection with the case of 2 missing Athens men who were later found dead. Police say Justin Jamal Davis faces 2 warrants for conspiracy to commit a crime. Leslie Chappell Green and Robert Maurice Carlisle are each facing 2 new warrants for participating in criminal gang activity. Green is in custody and the whereabouts of Carlisle and Davis are unknown. Derek Ruff and Joshua Jackson vanished in December and were found dead on March 17th. No one has been charged with killing them. If you have any information about this case, Gwinnett County Police want to hear from you.
An annual forum on race relations in Athens will be held tomorrow morning. It was pre-scheduled, but comes just days after a racist video went viral. Grady Newsource reporter Christina Evans says event organizers told her that video is just part of a larger issue.
Wait, get a video of it. Pick my cotton.
In the aftermath of a racially charged video surfacing online involving 4 UGA students, the Jeanette Rankin Women's Scholarship Fund is holding their It's Time to Talk forum with the purpose of discussing race relations in Athens. The event brings together community leaders to have conversations about the experience each group has with racism in the local area.
It's Time to Talk is really a good time to sit down and talk about this and bring in our students and bring in everyone to say, it's real, it's happening, it's all around us. What can we do about it to change that reality?
Karen Sturck, one of the founders of It's Time to Talk, wants people to feel empowered when they leave the event.
We want people to walk away feeling good. And like, how many times have you had a conversation about racism and you left feeling really good? Well, people do leave this event feeling good.
The 3rd annual It's Time to Talk forum will be held here tomorrow at the Classic Center, and organizers for the event are really hoping that these conversations had tomorrow between community leaders will serve as the first step to dealing with race relations here in Athens.
People sometimes say, well, talking is an action, but truly talking is the first step of action. So that's how we view this event, is hopefully a launching point for community members to go forward and do their own work in their own space.
Emotions can run high at this event, but organizers say that's for a good reason.
It's absolutely an emotional experience for many. I mean, the topic of race it's hard and it's challenging, and for, you know, speaking as a white woman, can be confronting for me to think, I have so much privilege, I need to recognize it and I need to use it to do good work and to be specific and intentional.
Tomorrow's It's Time to Talk forum is sold out, but there will be a secondary forum May 2nd open to the public to continue community talks about race.
Climate change is also on the minds of UGA students this week.
They'll take part in a global movement of school walkouts for climate change this Friday. The Facebook group organizer Mary Grant Hall says, "No more ignoring an issue at its tipping point. No more billionaires deciding the futures of our children's planet. Climate change isn't a question, it's a fact." Not everyone agrees, of course, but if you want to join the walkout, it's from 12 to 3 in the afternoon on the Tate lawn.
You can also join the conversation with us on social media with the hashtag FridaysForFuture.
It's 60 degrees right now, and there's a lot of pollen out there. Grady Newsource reporter Madison Lupo is live outside our studio. In Madison, the pollen is about to get worse.
Monday's rain may have washed away some of the pollen, but make no mistake, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. I've seen it all over my car, and my allergies have been acting up for weeks. Looking at this chart, you can see the Athens pollen count for the last 7 days. Pollen.com has a scale from 0 to 12, and we are at a 10.7. Anything over 9.7 is classified as a high pollen count, so we can definitely see that Athens is being hit by the yellow wave. As we move into the weekend, the pollen is only going to get more intense, and for anyone like me who is suffering through allergy season, I'll be back in about 15 minutes with a look at this weekend's pollen counts.
Stop the Bleed is on campus today, and coming up I'll tell you how they're teaching students on how to apply tourniquets and stuff wounds to save lives.
Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Is the seat supposed to be forward-facing or rear-facing? Did they move to a booster seat too soon? It may be too late to check when you're on the road. Fortunately, you're on the couch. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Don't think you know. Know you know.
I'm a single mother, and I was the main one working, so I never thought that I could go back to school, you know? My sister, my mother, everybody wanted to help me with my kids. I could not have gotten my diploma without my family.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90-mile-per-hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
UGA students are learning how to save a life. A program called Stop the Bleed is on campus, teaching students how to apply tourniquets and pack wounds. The national initiative was started in response to the Sandy Hook school shooting in 2012. Noelle Brodnax from UGA's Office of Emergency Preparedness says Stop the Bleed's goal is to train students, faculty, and staff to help stop uncontrolled bleeding until help arrives.
It teaches citizens how to use tourniquets and how to use bleeding control kits to stop massive bleeding.
Without help, a victim can die between 5 and 10 minutes. If you see someone bleeding out, you or someone you know can apply this tourniquet, and it goes between the wound and your heart, and you take this side of the strap with the red piece on it and pull it towards your heart to stop the bleeding. Once the tourniquet is on, it needs to stay on until the victim arrives at the hospital.
It's going to hurt a little bit, but it's there to save their life.
These bleeding control kits are located all over campus, and they also include the gauze you need to pack a wound.
And then you will just go into the wound and pat the wound all the way down, trying to fill up this whole cavity with the gauze.
To find these kits, download the Live Safe app and click on the safety map. The red heart icons indicate the location of a kit.
Just knowing what to do in case of an emergency is a big step that we want all students, faculty, and staff to know.
To stop the bleed and save a life, stop by the certification course tomorrow night in Tate, room 137, from 6:30 to 8:30. Brodnax says remember to only apply tourniquets to arms and legs and never around the neck or chest.
Today, UGA's Office of Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics held the 2019 STEM Institute at UGA. Those in attendance heard from 18 different speakers. They shared their personal stories and discussed the importance of creating a more inclusive environment for STEM majors. Other topics included promoting an entrepreneurial mindset and the need for diversity and innovation. UGA's Office of STEM Education wants to ensure through this institute that innovation and entrepreneurship are taught and practiced by a diverse community.
Oconee County's Sam Elsner was a true warrior on and off the baseball field.
Everything that a warrior's supposed to be, Sam Elsner was.
I had the opportunity to hear the Oconee County high school warrior community remember a young man whose life was tragically cut short.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made this vacation happen.
Double points with every purchase?
Cleverly merging promotions.
Love it.
Cross-referencing travel sites. And booking all your flights with those...
Vouchers. I got us bumped.
They were like, oh. But now they're like... Aloha. You aced this vacation. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
And now, sports.
9 men from Georgia's swim team will be competing in the NCAA Division I championships this weekend. Those representing Georgia include 2 seniors, 4 juniors, and 2 sophomores. Freshman Andrew Abruzzo punched a ticket as well. He is a 3-time recipient of the Freshman of the Week this season. The team will travel with a history of success on their side. In the past 20 seasons, the Bulldogs have placed in the top 10 14 times. The competition will take place in Austin, Texas, beginning on Wednesday. Oconee County is remembering a popular baseball player who lost his life in a car accident. Teammates, family, and friends gathered on the baseball diamond at Oconee County High School last night and paid tribute to Sam Elsner. The gathering to honor Oconee County warrior Sam Elsner was like a family reunion. Head coach Thomas Gooch began by describing Elsner's impact on all the lives he touched.
I won't remember how many hits he had, how many at-bats he had. You know, what I'll remember is that he was the best teammate anybody could ever have. And that's what these men behind us wearing the white and blue are going to remember, is Sam Elsner, the young man.
Team captain Luke Dickens also spoke.
He's missed greatly. I mean, I wish I could talk to him every day. And I know all these baseball players wish they could.
Elsner was killed in a car accident on July 12th, 2 months after he graduated from Oconee County High School. Assistant coach Blake Mooney remembers the funeral.
Rain couldn't hold back how many people were there, and he touched a lot of lives, and he was just, you know, words can't really quantify what kind of person he was.
Almost a year later, the community gathered once again to remember his life. The team was presented with a plaque in Elsner's honor. Elsner's 3 younger brothers threw out the first pitch. Number 7, his number, is on the back of each helmet, and his jersey was revealed at the ceremony, hanging on the back center field wall. Elsner is in the minds and hearts of the players each day.
The kids owe him a lot to how we play and why we play, rather than just the wins and losses.
The Oconee County Warriors didn't win their game last night, but Coach Mooney put that in perspective. He told me, quote, "At the end of the night, it wasn't about the loss or how we played. It was just about being there and remembering." Basketball season is over, but UGA senior Kalia Robinson is still earning accolades. Robinson was named the state of Georgia's College Player of the Year by the Atlanta Tip-Off Club. Robinson led the SEC this season in blocks with 2.5 per game and finished second in Georgia history with 292 career blocks. She also ranked in the top 15 in the SEC in points, offensive and defensive rebounds, total rebounds, and field goal percentage. Robinson was named first team All-SEC earlier this year.
The rain from yesterday is gone and sunny days are ahead. I'm going to be talking about those sunny days, the high pollen count that comes with it, and our 5-day forecast coming up.
Hi, I'm Peter. And there's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends. Come on in, help yourself to anything. That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ate than never. To learn more, visit SaveTheFood.com.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Attention travelers. Next Tuesday, a major power outage will cause complete chaos throughout the city. Food, water, and phone service will be in short supply. There will likely be panic citywide. Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
And now, the weather.
The rain from yesterday is gone and there are sunny days ahead, at least for a little while. I'm Madison Lupo with your Grady Newsource weather. Today we're going to be talking about those sunny days ahead, the high pollen count that comes with it, and wrapping it up with our 5-day forecast. Today was a beautiful day and temperatures are only going to start to cool off at 9 p.m. dropping to 51 degrees, and by midnight we'll be at 45 degrees, which is still a little warmer than that 37-degree low that we expect to see tonight. Moving into the temperatures for tomorrow, starting off a little chilly at 42 degrees, but by noon, warming up to 60, and 3 p.m., 67 degrees. So tomorrow will be a nice, beautiful day. With those high temperatures, the pollen count is getting higher. According to pollen.com, today is a 10.7 on a 1 to 12 scale. And as you can see, looking into the rest of the week, it's only going to get higher. So keep taking your Allegra and Zyrtec because the pollen is here and strong. Wrapping up with our 5-day forecast, it's a beautiful end to the week, high temperatures and clear skies. So enjoy that weather. I'm Madison Lupo with your Grady Newsource weather.
Coming up, Mother really does know best. And if you miss your mom, help is not far away.
Hello. Hi. I'm from Blue Hood Stone Barns. We brought a meal for you, and I'm here to serve it to you.
Okay, great. Come in.
Zucchini carbonara, made from zucchini that was harvested earlier this morning.
Again?
Hey, Dan Barber.
You have room for a little bit more?
Come on in.
Brochettes with sausage. So when we made that zucchini carbonara, you know, they're the end piece of the zucchini, and they're the cores that we cut away, not to mention zucchini flower. Usually those get thrown out. We use them to create an entire second dish. Does that, oh.
Again?
I'm here to bring you your third course. It's the vines from your zucchini.
We'll have a little zucchini stem pasta, a different experience of zucchini. When we start to think differently about our food, we can get a lot more out of it.
This is delicious.
What do you think we can make out of this? 40% of food in America is never eaten. Cook it, store it, share it. Visit SaveTheFood.com.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Laughing too hard at one of your colleagues' jokes at the office party? She's not even funny. Warning sign, those drinks are probably going to your head. Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high-five.
Moms and good advice go together like milk and cookies. Grady Newsource reporter Brittany Paris tells us about a group of moms handing out cookies and advice every Wednesday to students who miss their moms.
These mothers are hoping to bake your day just a little bit better.
Would you like a cookie?
Every Wednesday at Tate Plaza, Ask Mom gives the gift of cookies and conversation to students who miss their mothers. Karen Goddard is the smart cookie that started Ask Mom.
We love college students, and we wanted to come up with a way to love on and encourage college students. So that's why we started it.
You're an angel. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You have a great day.
You too.
Each mom buys her own ingredients to bake about 100 cookies. Their specialty is chocolate chip, but sometimes they hand out oatmeal raisin, pumpkin spice, vegan, or even gluten-free cookies as well.
These 2 hours give me life and energy. They're really fun.
It makes my day so much better.
Yay! I'm so glad. You're welcome.
And one student got more than just a cookie.
I enjoyed it a lot. I just got advice about a job interview, so that was fun. Who knew that I was going to get advice from a job interview from a mom today?
Sometimes when it feels like life is crumbling around you, perhaps all you really need is a little cookie therapy and a hug from mom. For Grady Newsource, I'm Brittany Paris.
Ask Mom hands out more than 500 cookies in 2 hours. Thank you for tuning in to Grady Newsource. I'm Sarah Hammond.
And I'm Majesty Bass. Good night.
Grady Newsource is a student production of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Is your family in need of more quality time together?
Hello, I'm Dr. Spruce. Nature is best enjoyed together. So bring the whole family to discover all the bonding and parks and forests have to offer. Visit discovertheforest.org and trade in phone time for family time.
Birds, squirrels, chipmunks, grass, worms, bugs, trees, rocks, and other objects in nature cannot talk. If you'd like to have a conversation while visiting nature, you will need to bring humans along. We strongly recommend starting with your family.
We're here.
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lucia Varine. Okay, my mic's on. And I was the senior production manager today. Today we had Augusta. She's off screen right now. Here she is. She was the new director. This was her first time. It was an excellent, solid show, so I'll let her say what she needs to say.
Awesome. Okay. So first of all, thank you guys so much for having like the packages in. I think, okay, I'll come out. Okay. All the packages were in like 15 minutes before the show started, which was so cool. Like, so that made everything a lot easier for me. I had a couple like double punches and like little mistakes here and there, but I felt really good about it. I can't wait to do it again. Thank you guys so much. Yes.
Thank you. Absolutely. Excellent. I'm sorry, I had something in my throat. Okay. So just briefly starting from the top, I'll just go through my notes really quick. It was a pretty solid day. So 12 to 2, we had Maddie Lupo on weather. Good job. You finished 30 minutes early, which is virtually unheard of. So, I mean, we stand an icon. Amazing. I loved it. And then we had Danny on sports. I had to go to class, but I watched it when it came up, and it was really good. And I'm pretty sure you finished early and on time. So you were in there on time, so I'm proud of you. Good job. 2 to 4, I got back here around 2:30 after class, and y'all were done. So I was shocked. So good job on that, and it looked really good. There was no digital hit today. I heard there was a little bit of back and forth, but eventually we got it figured out that there wasn't going to be one, so that's also fine. So awesome. One more thing that we did not have to do. As I said, we had a new director who was Augusta, and she did a really good job. She had, I think, maybe 2 or 3 missed punches, early punches, but other than that, it was a very smooth and solid show, which was also supported by our anchors down in the studio, so good job to you guys. We had 2 live shots today. We had Donovan, who's back, and then we had Maddie in the garage. Donovan was at Tate Plaza covering the Heartbeat Bill. Those both look good. You both did a really good job. And for yours, we had that VO up. We watched the prompter, and it was all good, so awesome. And one thing I think that you did well, Sydney, I don't mean to turn my back to the camera, is you told her when we had her VO up and when we were coming back to her, so I thought that was really good. Because since we followed the prompter, I mean, I felt like it all went perfectly, so that's awesome. As Augusta said too, everything was in by the golden, sort of the end of the golden window by 4:45, which gives the TriCaster just enough time to process everything. So that's awesome. Good job to Wyatt. We were talking about this a little bit, but he communicated everything to everyone. And even during the show, because the director gives cues to the anchors through the floor director and everything like that. But Wyatt was also talking in y'all's IFBs. And you can speak to if that helped you, but I thought it was a really cool thing to do because you're keeping them abreast of everything that was going on. So that was cool. Yeah, I mean, one thing I would say is I'm not sure if Donovan was out by 4:15, which I know since you only went to Tate, it can seem that it's like, okay, it's right there, I'm just going to pop over. But we do try to get everyone out of house as soon as possible because you never know what could go wrong. Nothing went wrong today, so it was fine. But I do just want to like remind you guys that we have these deadlines for a reason, and we're not just saying them to be a pain in the butt. So, but other than that, it was a really good day. So thank you. Woo!
Thank you. Okay, Wyatt was our producer today. You want to take it away?
Yeah, I've got a few notes, but they already covered a couple of my things. Like I thought we did a much better job today getting packages in as close to the 4:30 deadline as we could. I think the last one was dropping like right at 4:40, so it's not hitting the deadline, but it's pretty close. Especially when I know Christina and Donovan, your stories kept like were falling through, and we were switching you, and it was a pretty it was a tough day, but you guys persisted, and we got stories in, and they were both A block, and I thought they both turned out pretty well. So good job on that. And then I want to give props to Danny and Brittany especially for setting up stories in advance, so then it's just a much easier day for the two of you, and you're able to you're able to get everything else done that you need to, and then I know in Brittany's case, like you're just able to see if anyone else needs help because like you're already done with all your stuff. So that's very helpful on our end. And then I thought we did a good job up at the desk with Luke, Sydney, and myself, as well as obviously Professor Shaven helping us out, of like just rolling with the punches when stories wouldn't come through and just making sure you guys had something else to try to cover for the broadcast. And it is hard with these daily turns, but I thought we did a good job. And that's all I have, so good job.
Okay, good, thank you. Sydney, what did you do today? You want to tell us about your day?
Yes. I need a microphone, so I'm just gonna. Thank you. So I was, is it assistant or associate? I don't know.
Associate producer.
Associate producer today. So basically, I was kind of just helping around wherever I feel like I was needed. I helped Wyatt do some show timing. I helped keep up with the reporters. Special shout out to Donovan in particular, who I know had like a bunch of stories fall through and still able to turn out a pretty good package and go live, which was really impressive. So thank you, Donovan. One thing that happened for future reference is, you didn't know this, so it's not a big deal, but B block teas, all teases are edited by show staff. So I think that something happened where the B block tease was dropped, but normally what they do is they add like a stinger to the beginning. So fortunately, I did show staff for a couple semesters, so I just quickly threw a stinger on there, and like it was totally fine. But just in case you guys didn't know, the teases get edited by show staff, and they need to be dropped at whatever time they need to be dropped earlier in the day. But other than that, I thought it was a really great show. I thought we had some really good stories. I know we were struggling for some hard news today. And I know I keep saying Dr. Shaven, it's Professor Shaven. Professor Shaven and I, we were like—
Nice to meet you, finally.
Nice to meet you.
Now that we're at the end of the semester.
We like had some differences of opinion about like what should be at the top of the show, but ultimately I think it ended up looking really, really good. So.
Okay, thank you, Sydney. All right, Vera, you were our digital producer.
I was the digital producer today, and I was really excited. Veronica and I had a lot of conversations about this with Dr. Wright, but like doing stories that— stand up. Oh, okay. Doing stories that are really just digital only, in addition to what we're putting on as our broadcast, and not just using the digital platform just as a way to plug stories. And what I thought was really cool is we're starting to like get to the point where we're able to like tell stories through social media as opposed to just linking things. Okay, hello. Just keep talking. Okay, you did it. Okay. All right. So one of the things that I appreciated was, I know how busy everyone is, like trying to get everything in on deadline, but like I really appreciated the communication, and I know Veronica was the same with social media, like for example, like Majesty's story, like being able to communicate like what do we know, like what are things that like we can report and start putting out on social, and then seeing in your broadcast later. So, and then we also just had good content coming back in general with like photos and information, so I thought it was great with that. And then just being able to like kind of work on our own stories for digital as well.
Great, thank you. So our day started with all those fifth graders who were here, 3 groups of about 25 who came to tour and see how we did news. And I really appreciated a couple of you, I guess Sydney and Veronica and Brittany, talking about how you first became interested in news or some aspect of broadcasting when you were in 5th grade. I think that was really good to share with those students. And we're ending our day with another guest, our Professor Emeritus David Hazinski, who—
Another 5th grader.
I was getting there. You stole my joke. Anyway, I've known David for 3 decades almost, and you know, he ran Grady Newsource for, gosh, ever. Yes. And so we're going to invite him up to offer a critique. If you want to grab a mic.
Would you like me to be kind, or would you
Nope.
like me to be honest?
We want you to be honest.
Yeah.
None of us have left crying here yet, so.
Today's the day.
I have a lot of notes. Let me give you a couple of things. I think the blocking was fine, by the way. The show blocking made sense, and flow looked pretty good. A couple of things. The anchors, I've watched this all semester when I've looked at it. Do not do this. You all do that. What that is creating a wall between you and the audience. It's to protect your ego. And what happens is you don't reach out if you do that. I don't mean just the anchors today, I mean pretty much everybody I've seen this semester. If you have to do anything, lay them on the table, and what will happen is you will automatically use your hands more, and that's actually a good thing. A couple other quick things about anchoring. You went from a two-shot camera to a single-shot camera to begin with. What happens is if you turn like this, your eyes, your peripheral vision's better on the top and the bottom than it is on the side. So you get the sort of a wobble when you get in, and it's an uncomfortable. The way to get from one camera to the other always is to go from one camera down on the desk and come back up on the other one, swiveling on your butt. You will look much smoother. It will all make sense. You also all have the zombie anchor look. I'm going to sit here and talk to you about this story, and it's going to last for long enough that you're going, why is this white guy staring at me? What happens is you have to teach yourself to break eye contact, because people look up, they look down, they look around, but you get insecure and you just read the prompter straight and you don't look that hot. You don't look natural. Some of this writing, by the way, is pretty much unnatural as well. But let me hit that. Seriously, you will all look much better if you do this kind of stuff. And smile, by the way. Do you really hate anchoring?
No, I don't.
Then smile. Because what happens is you're literally sitting in someone's living room talking, and obviously you can on a bad story. But if you're in the teases and tosses and breaks, this is when you can show a little personality and you can be yourself and you can smile, and people don't want to grouch sitting in front of them. And it's a lot of this is you got to get beyond your ego. One more point on presentation, and all the anchors I've seen. What happens is you take a three-dimensional person, okay, like Maddie, and you put her on a two-dimensional screen, and she's going to be flat. So you have to be a little larger than life, a little more visual, a little more animated than you normally are. And it's if it feels goofy, it's about right, because you have to kind of restore that third dimension when you're on television.
So let me interrupt
Sure.
for one moment. So, Madge, when we talked about this, right, all week about relaxing, loosening up. We talked about it at the computer over there. And I'm not meaning to put you on the spot, but so what is what's blocking that? Do you feel like when you're sitting, then you get to that anchor desk, and Sarah, you were very stiff. Also, what's keeping you guys from just relaxing and talking like you're talking to your friends?
Well, I just don't want to show the wrong emotion. I think that's what's holding me back. I don't want to be smiling the whole time, and it's like, why?
If I don't move, I won't screw up. So I'm gonna, yeah. It's literally, a lot of this is egotism. It's protecting your ego, protecting yourself. You have to reach out. Here's a trick that I used to do. You can try this. Try this. Go ahead, try that. Right. You will never look as stupid as you just looked. So there's nothing you're going to do on the air that's going to be dumber than that. And it's exactly what Professor Shaven's talking about. It's trying to loosen up a little bit so you actually have a conversation with people and loosen up like you always, like you would have in a normal, just you're sitting in their living room. You got to think of it that way. Sorry.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Let me go through some of this.
Who's anchoring next week? Do you know? Luke? Okay, so take this to heart. Watch back the newscast and,
Yep.
be yourselves.
Okay. Let me go through the top of the show. Some of the stuff you're not going to like, I'll tell you up front. The three teases off the top. Donovan had a nice stand-up. I don't know what the hell happened to it when you got to the piece, but the tease was really good. Let me get that to a minute. I didn't hear the third soundbite, and the first soundbite on the vaccines, the framing was just so bad. Did all you guys have camera courses? Because this person's not lit, on screen left, talking screen left with too much headroom. It just, you can't do that. The way I always looked at stuff is if it goes on your audition tape, you can't put that on your audition tape. You have to do stuff that gets on your audition tape that shows people you have knowledge of this stuff. So you guys have to just think that way for everything. And the other one, by the way, that was her. She was too far off camera. You were over here and the camera was set up over there. So the eye contact is going to be off. Almost by definition, you can't frame it. If Professor Shaven's the camera, I'm doing it right here. Not directly eyes on like a sales promotion, but just off a little bit, but not here and there. It's not going to look good. It's just not going to look good. Switching cameras I talked about. The vaccine, we had a jump cut on the SOT. You're probably aware of that. And a swish pan. One of the other things you guys are doing in the beginnings of stories, you're trying to do kind of wide, medium, tight to establish them. The first part of that story was a pan from right to left without stopping left to right. You're thinking you're going to give people an overview. That is never going to grab their attention. You're going like, I'll do the wide stuff and then I'll do the specifics. Get their attention off the top of the story. And you got to shoot 10 times tighter than you've shot anything. Faces, hands, demonstrations, things moving. Move the camera in. Because if I'm shooting you, if I'm shooting Maddie from here, what's happening is the viewer is the camera. The viewer is an observer of action, okay? If I back the lens up all the way and move into Maddie and shoot her from here, yeah, it's a little weird because I'm in your body zone. Okay, but the viewer, which is the camera, is a participant in the action. It has way, way more feel, and will help them understand the story better. I know it's weird, but it is. I mean, and that's the other one. You guys are shooting stuff too wide because you're shy. Oh, I don't do anything, I won't screw up. It's the same mentality. Excuse me, pig media, got to get to the front. I always looked at it, I had an audience of about 28 million people that I needed to hit that was more important than that guy sitting in the front. So I'm on a stage if I have to be, but I'm getting that tight shot. Try not to be rude, but you got to get the thing and demonstrate it to people. Vaccines, let me see, go over. Oh, yeah, looking down, I talked about that. The heartbeat story, measles was okay. The heartbeat story, that live shot, you got to justify the live shot at the beginning. You never said why you were there. You never said, look, this plaza's empty right now. They're expecting anywhere from 100 to 200 people. None of them are here yet. They're supposed to be here in a couple of minutes. You've justified why you're there. You've justified why you are telling people you are there. You didn't do it at the beginning. You didn't do it at the end. So basically, it's Donovan standing in a field. Why? Well, if he says why he's there, and I've seen you do it at the courthouse, and you've done this before, but you didn't do it tonight. I have no idea why. Lost your mind. B-roll was good. I thought the web video worked. I would have pulled that a little tighter, but I thought that was a really good idea. There was no conservative student of 28,000 students that you could have got who wasn't on a phone.
That was the challenge.
Yeah, it always, kidding aside, trying to get people to talk to you in the time schedules we have really is the biggest challenge we have, and you're trying to convey kind of the necessity for it, especially with this kind of story. This is what the Professor Shaven and I were talking earlier. This is a hot button story for pretty much everybody on either side. So you really have to make an effort to make sure that other side is, you okay? It's just,
that happens when you sit next to Donovan.
Anyhow, we never justified a live shot. Anyhow, you guys get it. This is one of the lines I didn't like. The missing men's update. The whereabouts are still unknown. Hearken unto thee, O righteous one. Who the hell ever talks like that? You know, the whereabouts are still unknown. This has to be conversational copy. Police don't know, can't find either one of the men. Just that much. This is the most important thing you can get out of here is writing conversationally. I'm sure Professor Shaven's only said that 2,000 or 3,000 times, but it really isn't. You can't write lines like this. You can't talk TV. You just have to have a conversation. those kind of lines need to go away. The Athens Race Forum, think that had a good open, just less, and I don't know what that means. I'm looking at my own notes. And just say what it is. If you're demonstrating something, as we were there, just as 3 bike riders came in to start their thing, just tell people what it is. If you want to establish it, just tell them what you're doing and what you're looking at. This is my say it, see it, see it, say it thing, but it counts. Global warming, I said a nice framing of the sound bite on there. And the thing is, you have some of your sound bites and some of your shots are really well framed and well lit, and a whole bunch of them suck and are just way too wide and just aren't there. If you have, one of the advantages of when I moved, I won't do it to Maddie again, when I moved in, there's no shakiness. You can do handheld everything. If you're on the wide side of the lens and you're moved in and you fill the frame by zooming with your feet, what will happen is it won't shake, okay? So you don't even have to worry about setting a tripod up in front of her because it's all wide angle and framed and you fill it that way. But that would help, if you guys framed the video, it would look a heck of a lot better. Look at each other, the anchors, when you're especially in, you have a couple of double anchor reads in here, tells, what CNN calls tells. Just look at each other when the other one's doing it, it's natural. I'm finished. The audience, by definition, as soon as you start your head over, they're going, she's going to talk next, okay? And it works back and forth. This is what anchoring means. You're leading people in and out of things and telling them and directing them where to pay their attention. That's what the term means, okay? I can't tell you how important it is on stand-ups and anchoring to break eye contact. We had another one here. It was the which I thought was kind of a nice story, the tourniquet story, with kind of a Vanna White. I'm standing here, and this tourniquet is, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that naturally. You would sit there and say, I'm standing here, and these people are giving out tourniquets like this one. You would look down at it. You wouldn't maintain eye contact with an audience. You would look at what you're talking about. These are little dumbass things, but they'll make you look so much more professional, and ironically, they're natural. They're what you would normally do, but you're trying to, television's an alien environment, so you just kind of get sucked up in it. The more natural you are, the better you're gonna look. Bruce Arian is the guy I used to love. That guy could do stories like he was having a conversation with you, flying a helicopter, reporting on a murder, which I just was blown away by. He was a helicopter pilot
I
for
think
Channel
your
8.
point about the stand-up with Sarah is really well taken, because I was trying to figure out what is it that's bothering me about it, because you're active in it, you're showing and telling, but there's just something weirdly stiff about it, and I think it's that you're looking straight at the camera, and I think that woman was in the frame a little bit also, kind of watching you, kind of weirdly. So I think it's a good point,
The first weather, I heard a couple of, Donovan was one of them, somebody else said, watch the I, me, and mine. Mom cares that you're actually the one in the field. No one else does. But yours, with Maddie saying, my nose is killing me, I'm one of those people that's affected by it, was effective, because it's telling it from a human being's standpoint, and that works. But watch the other ones, because it's kind of elevates your ego at the same time, and nobody cares about your ego. They care about getting a story. And I thought when you came back to that, they had some pretty good use of graphics, too, on some of that. One of the ones, I think there's the story on the vaccine had too many graphics. We have basically the rule of threes. 1 is 1, 2 is a couple, 3 is anywhere from 3 to 300,000. But if you get absolutely over 5, with 5 of anything on a screen, they'll never get it. They'll never see it. There's too much crap to read. There's too much junk. Let's say you had 6 items you want to talk about, make it 2 screens of 3 each.
I think what you're talking about are the years that we show, all the different
there was 114 years, but I started reading, I'm going, screw it, there's too many to read. You know,
right. Or highlight the 2 you're really going to talk about.
And you could do that really cool. I'll be, he doesn't know this yet, but I'll be back next week.
Oh, good.
But I can show you how to do this stuff on Keynote, that you can do the graphics and you can animate this stuff. So it looks really cool. And you don't have to spend your life learning how to do that stuff. Oh, sports, weather, Maddie, when you guys come into this stuff, introduce yourself as soon as you come in. I'm David Hazinski with the weather, and it is pollen central today. Every time you go in, you think everybody knows it and they're familiar with it. They're not. Introduce yourself all the time, and I would tag out. And that may be a format thing. If you're Karen Minton and you've been on the air for 140 years, you probably don't have to do it every single time, but you aren't. So you have to, which is also going to count for audition tapes. The Oconee County baseball player, I thought, was a pretty good story and pretty well done. Once again, we shot too much from too wide. But the ironic part about that stuff is it was like wide and bullshit to begin with, and then later on it was really specific and talking about. Same thing with the tourniquet story. You guys start off with this wide thing, thinking you're gonna get it, but the audience has lost attention by the time you get to good stuff. Get their attention off the top of the piece. Anchor intro, first line of video, make that stuff match, and get their attention. 13 people were killed today. I'm looking for people. And that's the say it, see it, say it, say it, see it, whatever that is. Anyhow, yeah, introduce yourself. And I like the show closer, the Ask Mom thing and the cookie stuff. That's a schmaltzy story. We call them show closers. And the point of that is to leave the show, and Professor Shaven has no doubt talked to you about that, with a good flavor in your mouth. But they're schmaltzy stories, you know. You don't want to do it. One of the things you can do, though, if you get screwed up and you don't have enough time, is go back and do a recap at the end of it to, you know, those days when you don't have enough stuff to fill the show. You can go back and redo some of go back and do, these are our top stories today, blah, blah, blah. And I could talk a long time and look at specifics, but that's...
Okay, well, we don't have too much time left. I think a couple of things. I did not think this was our best day at all. I really wanted to have a better newscast, frankly, with David visiting, Professor Hazinski. You know, we had a great newscast, I thought, on Monday because we had great content. And today we were just struggling, you know, to figure out what is our lead. Well, it's vaccines, I guess, because the assault story really wasn't turning. The woman backed out. She was scared. And, you know, it's basically, as we talked about, a domestic incident between two people. And, you know, it is what it is. So we really struggled, you know, as vaccines the lead. Donovan, you struggled with the heartbeat bill until really close to the end to find that woman who you interviewed, who I thought was very good. But it just was so-so. I thought, Madge, on your video, you know, it was blurry along with being kind of off-centered. And there was a little weird jump cut in there. The other thing is, I think what you have a habit of doing this, I'm going to talk, this is your signature move, is you sort of fly into the camera on your stand-ups, you know? And so look back at that. It just doesn't feel natural. So.
When we're through with this, I'll show them how to do that.
Okay, great. That'd be great.
Here for a long time.
Okay. And there was a jump cut, I think, with that guy who you interviewed, that guy who appeared early on.
Yep. Yeah, we were trying to figure it out, but like time was closing, so I just.
So you guys, what you're doing is, and you did it in your story, and Donovan, you did it in yours, you're lingering too long on the setup video to the person who's speaking, the girl on the phone. We're staring at her in that phone forever before she says anything. So we got to figure out a way not to look at her for so long, or to look at that guy forever, you know, before he starts to talk. I thought the measles, the more details, was pretty good. The heartbeat, but you know, your audio was all over the place. I don't know why. You got your audio under control. I don't know what happened today. Do you know? Well,
I mean, I thought it was under control, so I mean, I don't know.
But did you hear it?
I did.
Yeah, it was popping all over.
I can hear a little bit in my.
Go back and watch. Just go back and watch the newscast, and you'll see the audio is just overmodulated in different places. I like the new development stinger that you made or Savannah made. I thought that was good. Sydney, good idea. I think on the missing man, you know, Sydney was saying, well, that could be a lead. You know, they've named another guy who's charged with something, but it's not the death. I didn't feel like it was enough to lead the newscast. And this is sort of a bunch of people involved in gangs is what it sounds like ultimately. But I do think there's more to do on that story, because in the press conference on that Sunday, they referred to gang activity. They said they were going to have more to say on that later right? You did that story, Danny. Yeah. So I'd like to know when they're ready, you can take the mic if you want, more about that gang activity that's in Athens. Okay.
Yeah, Jeff said that, like, I mean, didn't he tell both of us that he would comment on the
later.
gangs, that they would address it later?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're running out of time,
we
so
have
we'll talk more
5
offline.
seconds. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please come back next week, and we will be here as always. Have a great night.